Today in the crypto space, we see the market getting a bit of a bounce. Bitcoin at about 35,000, still hovering around that level of resistance. Ethereum 1790, give or take, doing pretty good as well, up approximately 1%. The rest of the crypto space, the altcoins are doing pretty good. Some good green gainers today. Chainlink, Shiba Inu, Solana back up to previous highs, Aptos, and many, many more. In today's video, I want to talk about the general market. I want to use Bitcoin as a leading indicator. And I want to talk about one altcoin that, of course, is looking pretty good. And at the end of the day, the question is, should we be waiting for a buy the dip opportunity, or are we taking profits? And that project is called PROPC. So you know what? Let's talk about the news. Let's analyze the charts and let's strategize to capitalize. Welcome to the channel. My name is Mike, and let's get right into it, guys. If you're new to the channel, welcome on the channel. We talk about cryptocurrency, Bitcoin, Ethereum, and all the altcoins, looking for opportunities. Whether we go up or down, bearish or bullish, it doesn't matter. All we want to do is stay one step ahead of the market so that we can capitalize on any of that volatility. And if you appreciate the strategy, subscribe to the channel and click that bell so you don't miss out on any of my future videos, including the live streams at 7:30 Eastern, where we talk about crypto news and price action. Guys, if you have any projects that you want me to cover on the channel, feel free to let me know in the comment section below, or you can hit me up on the socials. The links are in the description. All right, guys, let's see what's going on here with this market. Honestly, this market right now is a bit range bound, bit sideways. Bitcoin in the consolidation. Many people think that Bitcoin could be looking for a continuation after this consolidation breaks to the potential to the upside. You know, the last 7 days, Bitcoin did a really good job popping up. Of course, up approximately 23%, give or take, in the last 7 days, which is great. Today, about 2.5% to the upside. But it's still within that consolidation, still within that range. And of course, we're going to take a look at Bitcoin later in just in anticipation to see what could be happening as a leading indicator. Bitcoin as a leading indicator can tell us more or less, what is the overall sentiment in the market? Is it time to take a bit more risk here and expecting Bitcoin to continue? Or are we going to get in for a short-term move, quickly take profits? Or are we looking for a retracement to the downside? And in that case, we could see a lot of the altcoins potentially come down as well. All right, let's take a look at the general market first. We'll use Bitcoin as a leading indicator, and then, of course, we'll talk about today's project for this video, which is PROPC. Okay, we'll take a look for sure. Let's see what's happening here. USDC, still nice and stable. USDT, nice and stable. A little bit of a jitter here. I don't know what's going on, but definitely stable, nice, and looking good. BNB, rolling over just a little bit. I don't like the way it looks. Maybe a bit of FUD, maybe a bit of fear, uncertainty, and doubt, given the fact that BNB halted withdrawals just based on technical difficulties. Okay, guys, so we got to understand that a lot of projects at the end of the day do experience technical difficulties. Even the best of the best do. So we really got to anticipate that this could be just a bit of a negative scenario here for BNB, given those details. Now, we do see a lot of other altcoins resembling very similar price action, very similar rounding top, maybe looking for a bit of hang time, maybe looking for a bit of a dip, and it could be possible, or just a bit of a retracement before we get a continuation. And this is something that we got to pay attention to. For example, look at Chainlink. At one point, it did look like it was going to roll over. And all of a sudden, it hit a bit of a support level and then broke structure, creating a higher high. That's great. Good stuff for Chainlink. Still continuing to the upside, up approximately 51% in the last 7 days. Good stuff if you happen to get into Chainlink. Be protective of those gains. Trail up the stop loss. Take a bit of profit along the way, because right now you're looking into really good gainers, right? Chainlink is definitely one of them. What else do we have here? Polygon Matic doing pretty good, but look, again, a very similar thing. Look at this nice rounded potential consolidation, potentially looking for a momentum shift to the downside. Are we getting any breaks of structure, change of structure, anything to suggest that maybe we created a pivot point? It does look like a head and shoulders. It could be, and this is something that we need to pay attention to, that at the end of the day, Bitcoin did a really good job driving the market to higher levels. Is it time for a bit of a pullback? We're only Wednesday today, and of course, midweek. And what I'm interested to see is what the rest of the week has to say, and especially as we get into the weekend. The weekend, of course, we know what we should be expecting. A lot of retail market, a lot of the retailers in to this weekend, and I'm wondering what was really driving this market. Is it retail? Considering the majority of the pop did happen, or the beginning of the pop did happen during the weekend, the previous weekend. So a lot of the sentiment is expected to be driven by institutional. Right? It's institutional money definitely coming in, a lot of eyes on the institution, and the price reaction was caused by those ideas that institutions are getting in. Now that gives them a lot of power. That basically gives them a lot of power that they're able to basically cause the market to move. Now for me, is this an opportunity to get a lot of people wrecked in some sort of manipulative strategy? It could be. So right now, what I'm really looking at is a lot of these altcoins could be potentially looking for a pullback. Now, of course, on the channel, we don't mind pullbacks, we don't mind continuations, because your portfolio should be correctly allocated at this point. You should have some exposure, and you should always have a bit of dry powder on the side ready to deploy. Some traders like 20% of their portfolio is in dry powder at all times, just in case. And if at any point you don't have that, you start to look for profit taking opportunities to bring that capital back in so that you can have ready some capital ready to deploy. And that's the question here. Do you have any capital ready to deploy, dry powder ready to go, just in case we do come back down for a retracement? That's a responsible thing. If you're trading, that's what you really want to have, because the last thing you want to be is fully in and then get a dip and a nice buy the dip opportunity and not have the dry powder. So let's continue going on here. You can see AVAX, very similar thing. And you have Litecoin, very similar thing. Polkadot, okay, not as much, but nonetheless, is this going to be a lower high? If it's such a thing, maybe we're looking for a rollover in the short term. Maybe. So this is the thing. It's all a game of probability. And right now, I am comfortable with the fact that I have enough exposure that I'm definitely in the green, and I'm obviously looking for profit-taking opportunities. But in addition, I do have some dry powder to buy the dips at lower levels if we happen to be privileged enough to get a nice fire sale. And I know a lot of people are in the same boat. In fact, in a scenario where they haven't deployed yet and they haven't DCA'd, and this is what we're trying to do, find opportunities. Look at Maker getting a bit of a pullback, down 2.7%. Nothing crazy, but at the end of the day, it's a bit of a pullback. What else do we have here? Everything's pretty much in the green. Injective did a great job, and now it's going sideways. This is another main gainer, up 48%. Guys, keeping up with Chainlink. Look at Aave, another one, 34%, doing really well. Guys, these are the gainers that we've been looking for. These are the opportunities for profit taking. Look at even the graph. The graph up 25%, double-digit gains everywhere. Algorand getting some proof of life. Synthetics 20%, and the list continues going on. But for today, you can see, generally speaking, the market is pretty sideways. It's nothing great. Like Robit doing pretty good. It's probably one of the major gainers. But ultimately, there's nothing really. Pepe waking up, good stuff. If you're into Pepe, up 83%. That's definitely a community token that a lot of people have their eyes on, and apparently they burnt a couple of the tokens, many of the tokens just recently, so we could see a bit of a supply shock in the immediate short term. But look, the general market is right now looking green, looking healthy, not too explosive, but a bit of a grind to the upside, continuation of that grind to the upside, with a slight bias of potential rollover. It could happen. Look for those bearish divergences. But we're still positive, guys. Overall, still looking good, looking green. All right, guys, I know you're here to talk about charts, and let's begin our analysis talking about Bitcoin. What's going on with Bitcoin? Bitcoin got that fat bounce to the upside in the last little while, as we all know. And the question is it done? Is the move done? Now, I'm expecting that momentum right now is looking very overbought. And of course, at overbought conditions, getting into fresh longs is quite dangerous. You're asking for risk. However, guys, if we do get a consolidation, we get a sign of a potential, dip or consolidation with a good momentum shift, we could get another impulsive move to the upside. The question is, are you willing to take that risk? Are you willing to get into another long position after a nice pop to the upside? Let's look at this in a little bit more detail. As you can see, previous to this, I did mention the 1.618, and I mentioned how the 1.618 was a good area of resistance. We hit that level absolutely on the dollar, and I released that video special for Bitcoin because I saw Bitcoin at this level looking for that breakout, and we got it. So this is great. And of course, it exceeded my expectations. My expectations were that we would get a bit of a reaction around this level, maybe come back down to 25, but it definitely did exceed my expectation. The good news is that the entry at this level kept me in profit, kept us in profit here as a community. And definitely, if you happen to take a bit of profit at this level, no big deal. We cannot time the tops and the bottoms. In fact, at least if you took a bit of profit at this moment, you still had some exposure in the game to basically benefit from this pop to the upside. Now the question is it time to get in to a fresh long if you're on the sidelines? Is it time to take profit? Is it time to maybe get in short? This is the problem. Short right now is a bit dangerous. Okay, if you're going to get into a short, position size small short, guys. Very, very small short. In fact, you got to look for more confluence. The daily's not giving it to you. The daily's not giving you any signal that you should be going short. Okay, that's my opinion. Obviously not financial advice. Do your thing. However, taking profit always, it's never a bad time to take profit, especially when you're in some really good gains. Look at these green candles to the upside, multiple moves with good strength, and all of a sudden hitting a bit of resistance. Guys, take a bit of profit. Nothing wrong with scraping a bit of profit off the top. Now, exiting your entire position could be problematic if it does continue to the upside, but I would assume that Bitcoin might want to consolidate before it does that. Okay, so the daily is not giving me much. Let's look at the momentum. Very overbought. EMA is very overbought and very bullish, and green histogram bars are really bullish. The daily still looking propped up and looking healthy. However, guys, on the lower time frames, could we be seeing a little bit more data? Now, on the 4 hour, we are definitely consolidating. We definitely came up earlier on today to touch the previous high pretty much, and we got a bit of a rejection, just a bit, right? And we can see that we are slowly upward sloping here. Very upward sloping price action. Now, what's going on here in this level is not really that clear on the daily. A bit of divergence. I'm going to throw that out there. Higher highs on the price action based on this impulse, and lower highs on the RSI. And the MACD, as this price action is moving up, you can see the MACD is still sloping downward. So it is a bit of divergence happening, but this divergence is a lot clearer potentially on the 1 hour. Okay, the 4 hours not giving it to me. I would like a little bit more data. I would like another impulsive, another test of lows, another impulsive high to see if we make another higher high. And if we maintain this bearish divergence as we print more data, maybe we start looking for rollover positions or short positions or take profits or whatever the case may be to get aggressive on your defensive strategy. Right now, the offensive time was to be offensive down here. Right now, to get offensive and aggressive into your positions is quite dangerous, in my opinion. Depending on time frame, of course. If if you're gonna think that Bitcoin's gonna hit $500,000, you're still early. Of course, DCA, buy the dip, go in. But if you're expecting to be a trader, trading the daily, the 4 hour, even the weekly, right now might be this impulsive move where you can possibly buy Bitcoin maybe at a lower level. It's all about probability. Now, probability is at the moment, if we're going to come down, I'm looking at about 30K, 32K. That's where I'm looking at. Back test of the breakdown level, you can see we have this volume gap that is showing a bit of weakness down to about 32K. So let's see if it does happen. It's too early to tell at this moment. As of now, Bitcoin is looking for higher levels and testing those highs and proving to the market that the bulls do not have more strength in them to get those higher highs. So far, the overbought conditions are showing us that the impulse is there. We definitely see the bulls trying to push, but every last effort has been kind of rejected right here about twice already. So we're building data to show that the bulls don't have it in them to actually break above. So let's give them some time. Let's see what they have up their sleeve. Let's see if there's some more bullish news coming out in the market. Let's see if we do back test and pick up some more bullish bids, and at another attempt to break, we actually break and have enough momentum to break. So we got to give it some time. The daily, on the other hand, is giving us a different picture. You can see that overall the price action is upward sloping, while this momentum, this RSI right now, is downward sloping. I don't trade the 1 hour, but it's a sign that we could potentially get a reactive move here, and the momentum on the MACD is giving us the same signal. Class A bearish divergence all over the place. MACD, volume, and RSI. So what are you going to do here based on the hourly? Personally, I don't trade the hourly, but if that's your thing, expect that if we break below about 33,500, right around this level, I'm expecting a quick swipe all the way down to about 32 to 31,500, right around this zone. And you can see the empty gap, the volume here that doesn't offer much support if we happen to break down. Now, from a bullish perspective, guys, we could get another impulsive move and continue to the upside. And if you're still holding Bitcoin, great. Your long-term spots should be, basically intact. And if you're trading with a short-term spot position, the next level to potentially get to is about 40K, and it could be very possible. Okay, so right now, one step at a time. Bitcoin did a great job. I'm looking at altcoins, and of course, today is all about PROPC. Let's take a look what's going on here with PROPC. PROPC looking good. I just want to do a quick look at the market cap and what's happening here with PROPC with regards to its tokenomics. Just a little peek. PROPC, Propchain. Let's see what's going on with Propchain. Nice little bounce here. We're talking about market cap. It's a $10 million market cap. Hopefully CoinGecko is correct on this. Circulating supply 7 million. So this is a baby. Very, very small market cap and very small circulating supply. Max supplies at 100 million. So yeah, this is the thing. The fully diluted is 200 million. That's quite high in my opinion, but nonetheless, could be interesting. Okay, let's for its size, the $155 million market cap is quite big, but we do have a significant amount of tokens that need to be released into circulation. So could be the potential reason. So at the end of the day, guys, let's take a look at some price action. What is going on here with PROPC? PROPC, honestly, this is a good one, and the reason being is not only about the price action or the fundamentals. To be honest, I'm not even that familiar with the fundamentals. I rely on charts significantly. I do deep dives, and I do release a deep dive every week on Sunday, so be prepared for that one. But at the end of the day, what I like about this is that a lot of the altcoins are in a very similar spot. They got a nice bounce to the upside. They're looking healthy. They're looking strong. They're not at so low and they're not so high. At the end of the day, altcoins didn't really get their major run. If you look at the total 3, in fact, the chart, and we can do that all tonight once again. We talked about the total 3 yesterday, but the total 3 shows you that the overall market cap based on altcoins is that it didn't really run. We didn't, really accumulate any market cap, really, in comparison to Bitcoin. So what that means is that the altcoin market is pretty much lagging behind Bitcoin. And this is very indicative with the Bitcoin dominance. Of course, Bitcoin dominance is looking nice and strong. But there are some altcoins that we want to scale into, and we got a bit of a pop. The thing is that this bit of a pop is nothing in comparison to what these small cap, mid cap altcoins could do in a bull run when you see the total 3 run up and you see the Bitcoin dominance fall, right? This is nothing in comparison. So if we look at this and percentage-wise from the bottom to the top, you're up 38%. Great stuff. But if this thing actually runs up and does very well in a typical bull run, you're looking at some really good gains. Now, price action wise, where are we? To be honest, we got to pay attention to this bottom. This is the bottom that we need to hold. Of course, we have some diagonals that we can kind of look at, and they're not really confirmed trend lines just yet. So I'm going to put them as dashed lines. I'm going to put them as a spider line. You can see that at the end of the day, we have a higher low, which is, a bit of a confirmation or an indication that maybe we're starting to look for higher highs and higher lows. Now, if you continue going and start painting this picture, you can see that we have a bit of a volume gap that we got to deal with, which is above this zone right here. And I'm going to be very modest, right around this level. And then we got some gaps here in the volume that we got to watch out for. Where, and in addition, we have another level of volume that we got to watch out for that could act as resistance. But ultimately, what we're doing here is trying our best to break to these levels. There's a lot of price action here, a lot of chop, tons of it. All this chop at this moment is suggesting that we get some ebb and flows in the market, some peaks and valleys. And if it happens, we get some good volume, we can definitely blast through. But there's no clarity here. So really, the chance to get in was here at the bottom. Right now, big picture, this thing could do very well, but you're already up 38% from the bottom. The momentum right now on the daily is it's getting overbought. It's not quite there. It could get overbought on the daily, and we can get another impulsive move where it could get us all the way up to the previous high and test that $2, $3 level. Very, very possible. Is it going to make a higher high? I don't know, guys. Obviously, we're going to have to take it day by day to see where the momentum goes and see signs of potential divergences and weak spots as the price action continues, if it does continue. And I'm going to tell you what I think. Ultimately, it's about statistics. Statistically speaking, this trade, or the potential option to get into a trade right now, is 50% gone. You know, the 50% gone. Why? It's because the majority of the resistance is right around this zone, in my opinion, right? And look where all the potential support is right down here at the point of control zone, right around this level. So really, the move is halfway in. You're taking the risk to reward ratio is not healthy to get into fresh longs. Now, if your thesis is that this thing's going to do 100x in the bull run, of course, yeah, you might want to get in, get some exposure. Would I go all in? Absolutely not. I would be DCing. I would be prepared that if we do get a dip, that you could have enough capital to buy at lower levels, and I'm looking at about $1.30. More or less, that's what I'm interested in. I'm going to put a horizontal here. I like the $1.30 mark, and I'm also going to put a green arrow to suggest, look, if it does come down here, it's not bad. Green arrow, let's make that green. In fact, let me duplicate this for a second so that I can put a red one up here and change this one green quickly, because that's where I wouldn't mind buying the dip. And the next area to buy the dip, honestly, is down here. Which of course starts to bring you to very critical levels of support down at this level, and a bit of a volume gap as well that we need to identify and, you know, consider, because you don't want to be totally blindsided if we do get rejected and come back down. And then we'll talk about the bullish scenario, of course, and then obviously the edge. What kind of edge do we have in this market? So some support here is necessary, very, very necessary. Let's do one of these. Let's duplicate this instead, and then to understand, look, last line in the sand is this previous low, all within this. So 3 buy orders, scatter few in here because we could come down to the bottom of the volume gap, and then of course the previous low is the last level. Now, from a bullish perspective, guys, if we do break out, and the probability right now is 50-50, and it's all about probability, this is the zone where I would be careful. Why? Because we have good resistance based on supply and demand. You can see the volume profile giving you those volume gaps where we could, you know, test the bottom and tops of volume gaps. So I'll be watching out. And if you look at the Fibonacci theory, I'm eyeballing it right now, but it looks like it could be a nice golden pocket retracement. Let's do swing high to swing low, golden pocket retracement right around here, which would suggest, look, take a bit of profits, be careful. And I'm going to put a diagonal right around here, a horizontal, just to suggest, look, we got a bit of confluence here, got golden pocket. We're right now still in a breather type of scenario at the 0.38, so it's still possible that, you know, we're getting a ABC correction to the upside, and then maybe get another impulsive move down, because we did get an impulse down, corrective, impulse down. You got to be prepared for it, guys. And if you're not doing the right thing, you know, for risk management always suggests have some dry powder ready to go to DCA at lower levels, and at the same time get into healthy risk to reward ratio opportunities. Right now, 50-50 reward, risk to reward is not healthy, but if you're going to DCA, get in with a small position size and be prepared to DCA at these lower levels. Now, what is the MACD? MACD is looking great. EMA is facing up, green histogram bars to the upside, looking super great, and so is the RSI. Let's take a look at the 4 hour. It's not even 4 hours, not even overbought either. Are we going to get into overbought scenarios and get another impulsive move? It could be. We haven't gotten there in the past, okay, as can be seen, which is, you know, part of its trend, part of its theory, but you can see after this move down, we're getting some good levels of, you know, peaks and valleys, higher highs, right? So, and slightly higher low. Upon a retracement, guys, this might be your last opportunity to get in before we get another impulsive move again to test these higher levels. Honestly, it does look like it already took off, but the only thing that's leaving me a bit, you know, thinking that we could get the dip is that the daily is almost overbought, and so is the 4 hour. And the reality is, it did well already, and I know that's a poor argument because it could continue to do well, but this is all it is. Based on risk to reward ratio, 50-50 shot, those are not good odds. At the end of the day, that's gambling, and I would be looking for an opportunity for a dip. Now, fundamentally, this thing could be awesome. It could be amazing. I'm due for a deep dive for sure. However, guys, if you're looking at pure price action, the time to get in was here at these lows to take risk at the healthiest risk to reward ratio, where you can put an invalidation, which is at these lows right here. Okay, so if we get that opportunity, this is the time that we start looking at taking risk. Nice volume bar right here, nice green volume with not much of a follow through with regards to price action, but it's still looking pretty good here, guys, for PROPC. Let's see what happens, but I wouldn't be trying to jump on a a moving train. At the end of the day, we're looking for retracements so that we can buy low and sell high. All right, guys, if you appreciated anything that I've offered you in this video, do the channel a massive favor. And of course, tonight I am live at 7:30 Eastern, where I talk about crypto news and price action. Give the video a nice thumbs up because it does really help out with the algorithm. And of course, guys, if you want to follow me on the Discord, it is a great community, lots of good alpha trade setups, fundamentals, and learning material, all that good stuff. Take care, guys. Have a good one, and don't forget, buy the dip.